I took for about a month and a half. After that, I landed up in the nursing home and they put me in ICU. All my parameters went haywire. My pulse had fallen to 45 and I went into convulsions. And they had to tie me up to the bed. And I don't know, nobody knew what was happening. Even the doctors could not make out anything. So they put me on Ipsolin, a medicine. As a result of that, I lost my memory totally for 1 month. And I had become skin and bones. I was 47 kilos in 2007. But last August, I came down to 38 kilos. Like an old lady, I had to hold a stick and I had to walk. But I was very persevering and I would talk to the Lord Almighty. What's wrong with me? I'm such a healthy person. Why am I languishing in bed? And whenever I would go to any doctor, they would say, you need a trauma bed and a trauma doctor because we have to only treat you symptomatically. Now, what is this? They're not able to find the root cause of my problem. So, okay, fine. And then one day I just sat at the feet of God and I said, God, you are my doctor par excellence. I don't want any other doctor. I'm giving my case in your hand and I'm going to jump out of bed. And that was a decision I took in the middle of the night when the doctor refused to see me, because even doctors have their ego problem. When you go to one doctor and you tell them that you had been to another doctor, they don't like that. At 12:30 he sent me home without seeing, and I stood in front of God and I said, you are my doctor and you're going to treat me. Okay, and the next day I made up my mind to jump out of bed. From that day till today, I am here on my feet and I thank God. You see, after as I was coming out of it, I landed up with pneumonitis. Then they said, I've got vitamin D depletion, so I've got osteoporosis. Then I landed up, I was susceptible to infection. I landed up with sinusitis, pneumonitis. Then in the last March, I landed up with inflammation of the mobile towers, a mobile phone safe for human beings. And because I was getting peculiar symptoms in my body. My body would go into pricks. Suddenly, would go into pricks. And I'll tell you the background of that is a place, I'm coming from Dahisar. Within an area of 250 meters, we had about 38 to 40 transmitters in our very own building. No, you see, this is our building with the transmitters. Then there is Bhavna building with other transmitters. And then the radius is our building. Then the next building was Valmiki, another 12 transmitters. And they were facing my apartment. Yeah, see, this is my building, Ramayan. I'm on the ground floor, in fact. I shouldn't be affected by these towers. I shouldn't be affected by these towers. But I was getting affected by Valmiki towers. You can see this, the circles put up. See, this is Valmiki building and that is Ramayan building. These antennas that were put up were coming directly into our apartment. Okay, then my search started and I came across Professor Girish's article that he too went through similar problem. I said, I'm having similar problem, all the symptoms in my body, and heat would be generated. I needed coconut water often. I had to hydrate my body. I had to keep my surrounding more humid. Okay, then when I read his article that Professor Girish also has gone through this, I called up immediately IIT and I spoke to Neha. And I said, Neha, see, I'm going through all this thing. Madam, you tell me what is to be done. She told me first thing is you do the radiation test in your apartment. And the very next day we had our society meeting. We already had 9 antennas, but our secretary and the committee had vested interest. So they wanted to put the only part that was available above my head, they wanted to put Reliance Mobile Tower. So I did all my studies and I'm going to fight it out. And in that meeting, one after the other, people came with their problems. A couple doctor was staying just on the 7th floor under the tower. The lady doctor is a dental person. She also complained of vitamin D depletion and osteoporosis. Her husband, who is an anesthetist, who never had any chest problem, developed chest problem. Then I have another friend of mine who is on the other side. She'll come and share her testimony. I don't want to tell about her. But lower down floor, a family, that mother is having cirrhosis of the liver. A young girl of 17 was operated for 900 grams tumor in her chest in June 2011. And then you see where our antenna were facing the other buildings. We went to the floor. So what we started was, once we came to know, we got, Neha came over. Thanks Neha for coming over and doing all the measurement. And we came over to meet Professor Girish, and he educated us. He showed us everything, all these things what he showed us. We made a project and we went around. I had a good like-minded people. We are going to take care of our locality. We are going to take care of a 250 or 30 meters area. Each one, if they do that, this surrounding will be radiation free. So that's what we started. And as we started visiting the people around, each one started coming with their own problems, because we told them we are going through this. Then there was a family of 4. Husband, wife, and 2 youth. The husband, they are Rajasthani people, having good food, no problem at all, going for walks, sturdy. I had taken the video clipping, but for some reason I'm not able to show the testimony. That gentleman underwent angioplasty last August. The wife, who had thyroid problem, it worsened. Then she would get suffocated in the night in her sleep. Then there was hair fall, fatigue. A young daughter who was doing a TY, she was getting irritated, lack of concentration. The young boy who was working as a software person, he developed thyroid. So all these things. Then young people, what I've seen in my survey, that young people are diagnosed of thyroid. Now, whatever anybody may say, the fraternity from the mobile industry, they may say myth versus fact and all. Here we have our bodies who are the barometers. And I'll tell you, the mobile providers are the ones who increase the transmission like anything. And they increase because I am electromagnetic sensitive. I have got mesh all over my house. And Neha told me, because of this mesh, the radiation cannot penetrate to that extent. No doubt it is minus 27 and minus 30 in my apartment, but because of my sensitivity, I couldn't bear that. So I had to pick up electromagnetic, protection shield from Professor. I started keeping water bodies. Professor told me do pranayams, and I started detoxifying my body, took a lot of antioxidants, and that's how I am here today. And I really would like to thank God for Professor Girish Kumar, who's very straightforward. That's what I like. Without hiding the truth, he comes out. He is not worried about the chair. But there are certain other gentlemen who are here who spoke. They're more concerned about their position, so they're trying to be diplomatic. And I would like to request those gentlemen to keep their hand on their chest and conscience and fear God, that they are playing with the lives of people. And I would say, as this gentleman said, we, the citizens of the people, should wake up and make the government shake the municipality. We went to the municipality. There is no vigilance department. There is no monitoring. There is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay, thank you for giving a patient listening.
To share something which I don't think any speaker touched on. I live in Shivaji Park. I was born in Shivaji Park. And there's a whole lot of towers which have been coming up. It didn't concern me. As somebody spoke, it didn't bother me, so I didn't bother about it. But then suddenly the landlord came one morning and said, look, we want to put up a tower. And worse than that, have anybody has got a tower, you must have noticed there's a huge cubicle that comes with it, 6 by 6 by 6 feet by 6 feet by 6 feet. And that landlord, in his wisdom, because he's got a penthouse on the terrace, he didn't want people to come in there. He wanted to park that cubicle behind the bedroom on the ground floor. So that put me off, and then I decided to fight. And then I went and I got old municipal commissioner, the Paramount, he said, go and file a complaint in the police office in the nearest one, Shivaji Park. I didn't believe the police work, we are all cynics. But he's always helped me, so I did that. And amazingly, I went to the police office and told them the landlord's phone number, and I don't think he's got a license and he's doing this. And he, in his mercy, picked up the phone and dialed this gentleman. And asked him, look, I have a complainant in front of me, and there is a tower installation coming up. Have you got a license, sir? Or you shouldn't do it. And then he promptly called back after about half an hour and said, sorry, we won't do it. Without a license, we won't start the work. And we also ask all the tenants' permission. Then I thought, wisdom good, so the problem is solved. But my pal told me that, look, the problem may have been solved for the moment, but you'll never know when people get around regulations, then you'll have a problem later on. So 9 months went past, and then one day I found a whole truckload of material, And the landlord comes and bullied me and says, you do what you want, we are going ahead with this, we got the license to put the tower. Again, my friend advised me, this time he told me, don't go to the police, but go to the local municipal office and write a written complaint and give it to the municipal officer in charge. Again, I was a cynic, I said nothing will work, but I did it. And then he said, not only give a letter, but follow it up. So when I did that, there's an assistant municipal commissioner in charge of the office there, and he was very polite and knowledgeable, and he called the junior engineer and said that if you don't have a license for it, cut the cable. I was amazed that a guy takes action so well. And then he said he'll send the officer over, but then again, day passed, 2 days. Third day, that guy came and asked my landlord, have you got a license? And he said no. And I was amazed. I knew that guy for many years, he has lied to me. And then they stopped the work. Now it's been 2 weeks and I'm marking time. I don't know when he'll get around regulations now. So when I heard a lot of speakers say that everything is legit and they're considerate and they care for people, I think it doesn't work, People who put up towers and before this, when the man did it 8 months back, they had a man who had come there to erect the tower. They are not the operators of the mobile telephone companies. They are surrogate agents. That man refused to give me his name or his card or his number. Now, when a person comes with this kind of a deal, I get scared. They don't want to give the information about themselves. And I managed to get it done. But I wanted to share this with all of you here, the few who are left here, that if we unite and we decide to take a stand, and we trust the police and trust the municipal authorities, it does work. We are always cynical saying that it doesn't work, But if somebody asks me whether the police works or whether the law works, I say yes, it does work. And I don't know what the law is, whether the licenses are being issued. It seems to be being issued by a Baikala office somewhere. I don't know. But the point is that it's illegal and they blatantly, push their way through and get the towers made and rely on the apathy of tenants and society members to permit them. And I would like to tell the people who are here, if they are concerned with the same problem, make a stand, make complaints and fight, and they'll win. Thanks.